Well, good morning, afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Saturday Chameleon workshop. Just know that if you're watching the replay, this happens live every Saturday at 12 noon Pacific, and you can join us in the chat. We always have quite a lively chat with the Chameleon community here. And so, first question up on the chat is James 3 asking, what are we workshopping today, Bill? I am going to be taking you on a little trip around doing some parasite checks. And so I'm going to put up some stuff from the microscope, and then we're going to go over some behavior stuff. Today is actually a little bit of a light day. We had a nice, pretty intense seminar last weekend. And so today we're going to do a lot. It's going to be a little bit light today. So, oh, by the way, if you were here last weekend and you say, well, what goes on? That we have different shows here. Sometimes they are very intense with information, and sometimes they're very community focused. That's what the Chameleon Academy is all about. So, hello, Tony. Welcome, Nate, Steve. Oh, well, wait a minute. James Cross is here? Well, okay, you guys, you know what that means. That means we celebrate our fogginess. I'm going to have to work on the shot of that one so we can get more of the fog effect. So Nate says he loves the bifidus in the thumbnail. Yes, that is a male Furcifer bifidus, and a number of us are waiting for the shipment to come in from Madagascar, and it should be coming in soon. I don't have an update on that, but in there will come Furcifer bifidus for a small group of people who want to start breeding this species. And so we are definitely waiting with bated breath. And if you want to take a look, I actually brought up another picture of a male bifidus that's showing on the screen right now. And this is a young one. As he gets older, he's going to be having less of those patterns and more of a overall bluish gray to him. So and by the way, when you're getting wild caught, here's a little hint. If you have a choice, often you don't have a choice because you're getting them sight unseen. But if you have a choice, go for the younger one. The younger ones, they are easier to acclimate. They have less of a parasite load, and they have less imprinting onto the situation that they had before in the Madagascar rainforest, whereas they say, okay, this is what reality is. Well, their brains are still malleable. Now, all of the chameleons will adapt to a cage environment because the difference between is this here to contain me or is this here to protect me is all about perception and understanding. And when you first put a chameleon into a cage from the wild, they are used to their security being, number one, being hidden, but also their ability to position themselves so they can be hidden. And of course, in the wild, there's no place where you're positioned where you are 100% safe from all 360 degrees. So chameleons are very aware of they want to be able to move themselves to the right position. So when you put them in a cage, they say, oh, wait a minute, that option for me has been taken away. Now I'm vulnerable. It takes them a little bit of time before they say, okay, wait a minute. The rules that I grew up with don't apply here. This cage is not containing me. It's actually protecting me. Now I get the idea that I am safe in this cage. And you guys will notice this, that a chameleon will adjust to this. This isn't just me being poetic and throwing that out there. Your chameleon will literally show you that, where you're walking by and your chameleon be nice and calm, but as soon as you open the cage door, whoops, they're on attention. So that is a real life behavior observation that says the chameleon has transitioned to viewing the cage as their secure space. And that is what we're looking for. We're looking for creating a cage system that is densely planted and gives them the security so they see that as their safe place. And many of us know if we accidentally leave the cage door open, we come back hours later, our chameleon's still in there because they don't want to go anywhere else that is less safe. Now, caveat is some chameleons are just curious and want to walk around. Panther chameleons are good for this. So just because your chameleon decides to explore if you leave the cage door open doesn't mean you've got a bad cage. So, all right, let's. I got to check the chat before I start going in on everything that I got going on today. So let's see. Breathe it in. Yes, breathe it in. Oh, Steve Hefner. First attempt at pairing Brevicorn went nowhere today. Oh, Steve, what happened? What were there any responses? Generally, there are two options when you introduce chameleons. One of them is that they just kind of look at each other and ignore each other. And the other is that one or both of them flare up or either show their interest or show their disinterest. So I'd love to, Steve, what was the response? Oh, Angela got the book Tiny Dragons and loves it. Thank you very much for the feedback and letting me know. I'm glad you're enjoying it. And I know one of you are saying, wait a minute, pairing Brevicorn. What's Brevicorn? Oh, Steve says, male's not interested at all. Okay. Maybe he needs to grow up a little bit more. But what is Brevicorn? That, my friends, is Brevicorn, and that is why we call them flappy flaps. Those occipital lobes at the back of its head, those will flare up when they want to scare you, like this male here. This is a captive hatched male, and he is flaring up to let me know he ain't happy with me. Now, if you've got a female around, that reddish nose will start to glow, kind of like Rudolph. We call him Rudolph the Red-Nosed Flappy Flaps. I got to tell you, for the Brevicorn not being well represented, we certainly have a lot of character surrounding our Rudolph the Red-Nosed Flappy Flaps. So, hello, Janet. Welcome. Welcome to the show. So, all right. So Steve says the male was not interested. And that's a problem I've been having with my, some problems I've been, when you are trying to make chameleons, there are times where usually the males are very interested, but then the females aren't interested. But there's times where the females are interested and the males aren't. And it's like, gosh, come on. Why do you guys got to make it so hard? Case in point, James says, looks like a mini Dilophosaurus. Yeah. Case in point. Look at that, guys. Isn't that gorgeous? This is a shamrock chameleon, a male shamrock chameleon, Kaluma o'Shaughnessy. And let me tell you what is special about this picture. This is them glowing. This is what happens when the males are ready to mate, and they just all of a sudden throughout the year they could be this dark green, and it's kind of like a little subdued colors. But when the males are ready to ramble around, they will glow. This is a male, and you can just see that turquoise coming off, the yellows coming out, and those bars just becoming with huge contrast. So, and you know, you gotta take a look at that crest on the back. You got a little bit of turquoise crest. So these guys are so freaking beautiful. Now, unfortunately, I don't have a female that has been receptive yet. They've all just they've all just laid eggs. So, and by unfortunately, not fertile. Although, strangely enough, there are 2 eggs out of the 3 clutches that have been laid that actually may be fertile. I don't know, but they're in diapause. We will see what's going on. But I am hoping. What I'm thinking is, and if the gestation is like 4 months, and they laid between April and June, that means that the females may start to get ready around the January timeframe. So, we just got to do what we can to figure out the acclimation. These guys are adjusting to the northern hemisphere, and that means that the warm and cool area seasons are flipped. So these guys have been through 3 seasons, and so I believe that they are finally settling into this new the new seasons. James says, "Let's see a female O'Shaughnessy, Bill." Well, all right then. If James wants to see a female O'Shaughnessy, let me give me a second while I pull it up here. I just happen to have a female O'Shaughnessy. Well, here. You know what? Just for the fun of it, there is another male flashing his colors, so you can see a little bit of the way another one interprets the colors. But you wanted to see a female, so give me a second here, everybody. Hang tight, because I think that is a relevant request, because we have been talking about the shamrocks, and so it is worth it for me to go and pick out the females. I think I got some of a female who is in the middle of a shed. So give me a second. Gonna find. Yeah, okay, there she is. We'll give the full. There we go. Uh-oh. Ruh-roh. I gotta remove. I gotta make some room. Gotta make some room in my studio. Give me a second. Let me find it again. I know you're thinking, wow, Bill, this isn't great. This isn't great radio here. But it's just part of what we do. All right, here you go. Here you go. Now, that is a female not showing the greatest of colors because she's shedding right now. And James, of course, is at 102, so nothing's outside. Nothing's going to have fun there. Nate's asking, Bill, are you keeping any shamrocks outside? Was curious due to the cooler temperatures you mentioned before. Yes, Nate, I am keeping my most of my shamrocks outside, and that was something that I specifically did this year because I wanted them to have a cold period. And the years before, I would bring them in so they would have a cooler period, but they really didn't go down in temperature. So I was, quotes, protecting them. Well, this year I had enough of that. And so I left them outside through, we had some nights that would get into the 40s. And so, if it got really cold, I would bring them in just for that night. But I wanted them to go through a cold winter. And that worked somewhat. I don't have the mating yet, but after going through that cold winter, the males are now showing off their breeding colors. So doing that as part of the acclimation and giving them a colder winter than I wanted to actually worked for me. Oh, oh boy, Robin, you need to know. Need to know what you bringing in next week. So, all right, I do need to be. Let's be. Let me get this down, and we need to do some official business here. For everybody, we have the 10th anniversary celebration coming up, where we're going to be meeting in Utah, in person in Utah, in Springville, Utah, at Clint Reptile's Reptile Room. So that's coming on August 9th. That's a Saturday, August 9th. And we're coming into the final stretch. I'm going to have to start working with Eliza Ann as far as getting the cookies. But if you have signed up to go explore the Tipo Pangos Cave system, which is going to be on Friday morning, you got to get some tickets because those tickets will sell out. We're going for the 9:15 time slot. And so we're going to be hiking up to these caves. We're going to be taking a look at the caves. I haven't been in a cave for a long time, and I'm looking forward to that. But do we buy a cookie cutter? Yeah, I'm going to be coordinating that. And I'll let you know what needs to be done. We do have a 3D chameleon cutter, cookie cutter, but I do not have. I haven't figured out which cookie cutters I want to use. If the ones I have before are still good, or if I need to make more. I need to have a board of directors meeting for this and figure this out. And I got to do that quickly because I think we're going to need let's see, maybe even 100 sugar cookies for us to decorate. So, whew, we got a lot going on. Let's see, it's 90 Fahrenheit in Ontario, Canada. Wow. Wow, we got a heat wave going through. Oh, Robin's getting 3 yellow lips. Oh, very nice. Yellow lips are great. So anyway, any questions about the 10th anniversary? If you're still deciding or you want to go to the 10th anniversary, email me at bill@chameleonacademy.com. We're going to get you in touch with Eliza Ann, who is our official coordinator. We've got a schedule, and you can come to whatever activities you want. Saturday morning, we've got Coffee with James. Saturday evening is the official get together. It starts at 5 and goes till 9 p.m. And the place is ours. So we get the reptile room, and we're going to be able to play with the reptiles. Clint may or may not be there. We don't have his schedule yet, but we are going to be able to meet each other in person for most of us for the first time. And I'm really excited about that. Oh, James's Trinity is going to live with Robin. That is great. So the story behind this was that James got a yellow lip Parsons chameleon captive hatch from Rick Rose and wanted a female, and it turned out that that Parsons was a male, and so he had to go back to the breeder, get changed out for a female, and we love it that Trinity, who will now have a different name, is now staying within the family here. So we're pretty excited about that. That is excellent. Steve says everyone's getting new chameleons but me. Aw. Yeah, well, once you get a successful mating, you're going to be swimming in chameleons. And Angela says, Bill, it sounds exciting. Wish I could be there. And, during the event in the evening, at least for part of that, we are going to have a live broadcast. And so you come to this channel and you'll be able to be part of the live broadcast. And everybody there will say hello to you, and you say hello to everybody. And so you can be part of it. All right. Let's see. Janet says she's got 3 baby veils left. Janet was the one who was foster raising a handful of veiled chameleons, and so it's time for them to go to new homes. So this is fun. Janet is the first one to do this, the strictly small batch breeding philosophy, where we're going to have a person that specializes in raising babies and giving them a luxury existence. And so she picked, I believe, 6 veileds and just raised them up. And that was, she just loves doing that. And I understand. I would love doing that as soon as I can establish the shamrocks and get the different bloodlines going and have people bringing in bloodlines. As soon as I can get that system set up, I am going to this model where I am just going to raise baby chameleons. That's what I want to do with my life. So. It's talking about doing the meetup live on the main channel. Don't know. It's something to think about. Maybe. I won't think out online, but that's an interest. That maybe. I guess that's what I'll say. Now, we also want to say congratulations to Tyler of the Chameleon Collective, who has these gorgeous baby helmeted chameleons. They are available. So if you go to the Chameleon Collective, Tyler is selling them. But for me here, I'm not going to sell them. I am just going to celebrate that they exist, and we celebrate when babies come into our community. So congratulations, Tyler, for your baby Trioceros honellii. And if anybody's interested in a little baby honelli, then go to the Chameleon Collective, and you can pick one up there. They are so absolutely gorgeous. All right. Let's go ahead. Okay. Let's see. I did want to say, everybody, for Madagascar, we still have those 2 slots available. So this is going to Madagascar in January. We are going to be buying plane tickets this month. So I'm going to be posting on so we have our own forum for this this trip. And we talked about passports a couple weeks ago, and now we're going to be getting into buying those tickets and making sure we're all set. So that's coming up. If you're interested in going to Madagascar with us, we're going from Ranamafana to just south of Tomasina and going through Andasi Bay. Get a hold of me at the email address bill@chameleonacademy.com. I do want to fill these 2 spaces. Let's see, Robin has given a message. Bill, one of my girls just dropped eggs. Broke my heart, wanted more shamrock eggs. Yes, we all need more shamrock eggs. And that is, I had one that just dropped eggs, but I am very glad. Robin, how do the eggs that you're incubating look? Does it look like we're going to have some babies next year? Let me know. That would be so cool. All right. Also want to say, if anybody here has these cages, we have a new product that is out in the wild, and that is a bioactive stand from, of course, Crosscuts, Mr. James Cross, for the Dragon Strand Large Atrium. So if you're looking for a place to put that huge cage and you wanted one where you could have a soil substrate, well, this makes it so convenient. I love having this product now because my large atrium on a bioactive substrate on wheels, casters. That's a dream. So just so you know, there it is. Obviously, I haven't set it up yet, but I am working on that. As soon as I have my next bioactive video that is going out, I finished most of the raw filming, so it's being edited right now. Once that's done, I can get on to these other ones. So, and I gotta say, James, you've done such a good job with these. I mean, these are solid, and I love having these. So this is the product that I've been looking for years. So I really appreciate how solid of a product this is. These guys, this is not cheap toy, cheap overseas stuff. This is solid American made. I love it. Ah, let's see. Robin says have 13 eggs. So we got 13 shamrock eggs. That's what we're talking about. All right. Let me know because that would be really cool. Although Robin, I thought you had 3 clutches. Was only one? Was I mistaken, or is only one fertile? What is our Shamrock future from your side? Uh, Nate says, Bill, do you use silicone down the back of the atrium in the middle? No, I do not. On the back, which you can't see here, there is a mending strip that holds them together. And so it's pretty tight. And even if, and so there's no way that water is going to be getting through the back and going out. It is totally blocked. Any water that goes to the back of the cage is going down and, of course, into the drainage tray. Yes, this is an incredibly nice size. I wish this, if I could snap my fingers and make this more of cheaper in price, I would love to now just go through all of my care sheets and say that 4x2x4 is the minimum size because this for your Panthers, your Veils, your Jacksons, this gives some really cool amount of space. And so, I wish they weren't so expensive, but such is life. And yeah, and by the way, everybody out there who says that doesn't look expensive, I just get some sheets of plastic and some film. I know I keep hearing that. But guys, until you actually do it, you don't realize what goes into this. And if anybody insists, every couple of years, I'll get somebody like on Chameleon forums who decides they know better and that I am doing this and I am just jacking up the price because of the brand name and all that kind of garbage. It's like, oh my goodness, I wish that were the case. All I need, hey, you guys out there think this is really cheap? I will buy from you. And that's when all of the talk just disappears. So, yeah. All right. And of course, I had to bring that up because I got this very strange email from somebody who thought that I was, because of these new bioactive stands, I was gouging the Chameleon community. And I'd say, dude, you don't understand what it goes into making this. And by the way, that tray is a work of art. It's a work of functional art. And I've tried to build a tray out of PVC before. Oh my goodness. You get a real appreciation once you try that. But anyway, I am going to move on. Mikey Ben says, Bill, place Vixen on the stand and show how sturdy those stands. I could sit on that stand. I'm pretty sure I could sit on that stand. James, would you be confident enough to just sit on that thing yourself? I think I wouldn't have a problem sitting myself on that stand. I think it would handle me. Nate says, I enjoy part of the DIY process using plastic sheets. No hate to the better made products from me. Oh, yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. People can do it. And definitely, I actually encourage people to enjoy building your own cage. So, yeah, go for it. It's just when people decide, hey, wait, this isn't that expensive. That's when I say, yeah, okay. Just wait until you actually add up everything. James says, yeah, there's no doubt you couldn't stand on the edges, but you could definitely sit on the stand. All right. Didn't want to make it personal by weight. Thank you very much, Mikey Ben. I appreciate that. Oh, yes. James' craftsmanship is unmatched, worth every single penny. Yeah. Robin got some trays from James. So, James does beautiful work. And everyone's wondering, oh, okay, why are we talking about James so much? You know why we're talking about James so much is because he is an example of the best part of our community. When we have products that are made by people within the community specifically for our needs, that's when we get the best products. And that is, I'm very excited by how many products are coming from within the community. I'm not talking about things that are gotten from overseas and you slap your logo on it and say, look what I got. No, I'm talking about when we have community members that craft things out of their passion. Those kind of things are for us. Like, just look at the cage that you got there. It's got the right it's got the right ventilation for chameleons. It's got the dragon ledges on there that were invented for chameleons. I invented those in 2013 for us. And this isn't okay, look what I did. It is when people from the community say, this is what I need, and they create it. That is when we know we've really achieved a milestone to where we in the community are rising to what we need. So that's why I love sitting here talking about how great this stand is. It's not just a stand, and it's not just James. It's something that's been created. I mean, if you look at this everything in this picture here has been created from within the community. So I just love it. Strictly designed for chameleon keepers. That really helps me go out there in the 102 heat and make some more. Yep, handmade, built by James Cross in the U.S. So, all right, my friends, let's get to some of the things that I've been working with. And when I say things, I mean let's do a little bit of a review of what happens under the microscope. So, James, you need AC in the garage. Yeah, you know what? You need to totally insulate that garage and put an air conditioner in it. All right. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put a video on stage, and I'm not going to say what it is. This is, it's from the microscope. And so this is from a fecal check, but I'm going to put it up and let you all take a look at it and put your analysis in the chat. There we go. So I'm just going to wait for a little while and let you observe. I'll let it play a couple of times here. Wish they had a looping feature on this. Tell me what you see. This is about 800 times magnification. And this is a fecal smear. So, I am not seeing any guesses. All right. So, a bunch of wiggly wascals. All right, good enough. So, what we're seeing here are that zoom level throws me off. Okay. Flatmates protozoa. Okay, yeah, we know that is autocorrect. And Marcia is absolutely correct. These are flagellated protozoa. And so what you can see is you see those little erratic moving things. And what that is protozoa that has a flagellum, which is a tail at the back. And it waves like this, and that's how they move themselves through the the fecal matter. That's how they're mobile. So when we see them under a microscope, let me play that again. We see this little erratic movement all over in the places, and you can start seeing it in there. If you see a little bit of movement, that's what you're looking for. And this is something that this is a main reason why we do. So Wild Horses says, so they have a tail. Yes, they do. This is, and it is like a tail, like this, and they swim with it. It's kind of like a tadpole, a little bit. Tadpoles kind of go a little back and forth, but kind of like that. And sperm is flagellated. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So it's the same thing. And so the reason why we're really looking for these under the smear. So a smear is when you take some of the fecal matter, you put it on a slide, and then we put a drop of saline solution directly on the slide, and we mix it up, and we make sure that because we want to see what's in there. And what the saline solution does is it gives it more liquid, so the flagellated protozoa can swim in more directions. Of course, the more solid the poop, the less movement you're going to see. So by putting a little bit of a saline solution in there, we create a swimming pool for them to swim around. And we do this with the saline solution on a smear, because when we use the float, we put in a special solution that lets the ova and the eggs float to the surface, but that's going to kill the flagellated protozoa. Now, somebody in there is going to be saying, well, Bill, why does it matter? Well, it matters because can't you identify them, the dead bodies? That's a problem. Once they're dead and they're not moving, it's really difficult to pull them out from the background and figure out what they are. They look like just the debris, or they just disappear entirely because of just the nature of what they are. They're just small microscopic things. So we want to catch them while they're alive so we can identify them by the movement. And this is why your vet is telling you that when you take a fecal sample from your chameleon, put it in the refrigerator and get it to them as soon as possible, because some of these protozoa will do what we call encyst, meaning they get exposed to temperatures or dryness. They pull themselves into a cyst, which, by the way, spoiler alert, you're going to be seeing some cysts coming up very soon. And the thing is, once they encyst, it's like this very hard ball. It's really hard to identify what they are. And once you see a cyst, let's go ahead and pull one up. There you go. This is like 1,000 times magnification. These are cysts. The question is, cysts? What cysts are these? What protozoa are these? They're single cell, but it's really hard to identify what they are. They could be anything from a commensal that you don't have to worry about to a very dangerous one that you better worry about. And number one, you can get some analysis and identification from a professional, but it is difficult. So when you see this, or you see the protozoa, the flagellated protozoa, the medicine that you use is called metronidazole. Flagyl is the common name. And the thing is that metronidazole is a tough one on the chameleon's body. It's a dangerous one because it gets into the bloodstream. And anything that gets into the bloodstream has the potential of crossing the blood-brain barrier. And once you start getting into the brain, that's bad news. You could do some real damage. And Flagyl, metronidazole, gets into every part of the body, every fluid in the body, which means it's effective to kill things all over the body. Unlike fenbendazole, Panacur, that mostly stays in the gut. And so if you've got worms that are crawling through the body, it's Panacure is not a really good way to attack that. Now you're thinking, oh, okay, but I've got worms in my body, the chameleon's body, and my vet told me I need ivermectin. But he said ivermectin, but I read that ivermectin is dangerous. So what's the difference between ivermectin and fenbendazole? Why is fenbendazole considered so safe? Panacure. And the reason is because fenbendazole or Panacure, or pyrantyl pamoate, is because it stays in the gut. It doesn't get effectively absorbed into the bloodstream. Once something gets absorbed into the bloodstream, we got to be really careful with it. And that's ivermectin has killed chameleons before because we didn't get the doses right. Anyway, careful with metronidazole. That is what kills this. But whenever I see a slide like this, I like to take it to my vet. And I like the vet to send it off to a professional laboratory to get these cysts identified if they can. Because if these are a bunch of Entamoeba coli, then they're commensal and they're not dangerous. They sit at the end of the digestive tract and they just eat poop. We don't care. Have at it. Eat as much poop as you want. But if they're Entamoeba invadans, then they're in the intestines and they are actively destroying cells, and they are working their way to destroy the liver. And then after that, they're working their way to destroy the brain. Yeah, we want to get rid of those. So it's really good. It's hard to identify between the two. It's really good to get some professional identification. Let's see. Angela's got a question. I got the Arcadia Jungle Dawn 22-watt LED for my plants on top with her UVB light down. UV light. Soon as I put it up there, she wanted out of her cage. I don't know if it's too hot, so I took it down. You don't get a lot of heat off of the Jungle Dawn. There is some heat. And if you have a hybrid cage, that heat can build up. But I wouldn't think that it would be a problem with heat. Now, you may want to look to see what are some of the effects of using this extra light. So let's just say we've got brighter light up there. What is it now she's seeing? And you're just going to have to take a look. Some possibilities are if you have a acrylic door or any acrylic sides, and then you put a light on, if it's at the right angle, you could be getting reflections. That could be a change. Most chameleons learn very quickly to ignore the reflections, so it's not an issue. I know everybody talking about, glass containers will die because of reflections. And no. Chameleons figure it out pretty quick. So I like the Arcadia Jungle Dawn, and I often have two of them on top of my cages. So I guess my answer is going to be, I don't think it's heat. But yeah, it's worth looking into. One thing you can do is just see if over time she settles in and gets used to whatever it is that's bothering her. Whenever we do a change in a chameleon's cage and environment, they have to interpret this change. Wow, there's more light. What has changed? Am I in danger? And how their chameleon brain works and how they decide, whoops, this is danger. Okay, I'm nervous about this. Maybe it just takes a little bit of time for them to figure out this change does not mean I'm in danger. Okay, James says, agree. 2 on every cage. My 4-foot ones have 4. We're talking about the LED bars. That might affect my chameleons at all. For a veiled. Okay. All right. I like the heat Jungle Dawns gives off for my cooler chameleons. Yes, actually, we chameleon people, we really like the heat that comes off of the subtle heat that comes off of the jungle dawns and even the T5 fluorescence. Sometimes that's enough for our chameleons, like my shamrock chameleons. I don't put heat lamps on top of those, on top of them, and it's just straight jungle dawns or T5s. Definitely more like could just be change. Yeah, chameleons react to change. Give it some time and see what happens. And if she's still doing it and reacting after a couple of days, then yeah, that's a sign that you really got to look into it and figure out what's going on. So, all right, everybody, what is this? You come across that in a microscope. What does that tell you? And I will sip my water while you all figure out what kind of guesses you would like to put into the chat. Nate says oocyst. Oocysts are. Marcia says hookworm. Okay. James says coffee bean. Yeah, I love my community. So yes, this is Mike Ben says hookworm ova. Indeed. Oh, Flick says this is James. Could be. All right, that's a good guess. I should know this one. I've seen it before. Oh, yeah, Janet, it takes a while. It takes a while. And that's one reason why I go through this on a regular basis, is because we have to practice. And even me, I have to practice saying the coccidia life cycle out loud so I don't forget any part of it. This is a whole new world and takes a lot of training. It's a fascinating world. Oh my goodness, but there's a lot to learn. Angela says tapeworm. So the answer is this is a nematode ova. And that means it's an egg for a worm. Now, number of you, like Marcia Ann and Mikey, identified it as a hookworm. And the answer is I don't know. This is, and I will give you another little hint here, is this is 800 magnification, which means it could be something else. Here's the thing, that is exactly what a hookworm ova looks like, but hookworm ova you can see at 100 to 200 times magnification. So this is like little mini hookworm ova. And I still need to do some research to see if I can figure out what nematode it could be. Now, and so the answer is I have half an answer to this. The important thing about this is I know that fembendazole is what I need to get rid of it. So yeah, identifying it as the species, that's something that us parasite nerds will do. And yeah, we'll go on to the forum, and me, Marcia, Mikey, Nate, and now Janet are going to sit there and we're going to nerd out as to what species is this. But the fact is, you guys, if you get into this parasite stuff, it doesn't matter what the species is. You just identify that it's a nematode, and you know what medicine to use, and you get rid of it. That's really what we want. Yes, us parasite nerds, we want to know what kind it is because we kind of collect these like Pokemon cards. But you, as a functional, like James, he's going to be going, guys, it's a freaking worm. Give me the fembendazole. While we're over here nerding out as to what its species is, and I get the. I will go to my vet, and I will get all nerded out saying, okay, well, what species is this? This is smaller than a hookworm ova, but it's definitely a nematode. And he just looks at me, and I tell this story all the time. He just looks at me and says, Bill, it's a panicure worm. All right. That's his job. Whatever it is, get rid of it. And that's true. So just know that even though me and my parasite cohort are all nerding out as to species and stuff like that, it's a lot easier than that. When you get your microscope and you see one of these, you go, fenbendazole, and in 2 weeks it disappears. Mission accomplished. You don't have to worry about what its name is. In fact, I'm going to start drinking coffee by the microscope. So, all right. Oh my goodness. I have really eaten up a lot of time. Okay. I've got one more thing. One more thing for you guys to identify. And yes, I do this every time I see it because I love it. What is this? When you see this under the microscope, what medication you're going to use? What is this? How much of a panic do we do? I will take a sip of water. Well, you gather your thoughts. Oh, Marcia. Pollen, no meds. Well, that's boring. That's boring. Come on. Well, Marcia is absolutely correct. This is, if I were to guess, this is pine pollen. And pigs in a blanket, dragonfly head, coccyx. At least Janet is getting within the microscopic. So, what's that? Let's go. Close to coccidia, but not looking right. Nope. Yeah. And this is what we have to go through. And everybody, yes, it's okay to be wrong. The value here is in going through the effort of working on it, because we see so much under the microscope. It's really hard to know everything that you're seeing. So you're looking for certain shapes. And this is what we call a pseudoparasite. This is something that looks like it could be something. And one of your feeders, somehow pine pollen gets into the feeders and sticks to the feeder. That's what pollen does. And then you see it and you go, oh my gosh, what is this? I've got to kill whatever it is. And honestly, that's what happened the first time I saw this. I was running this by everybody I could find, saying, what is this? Until finally the ID came back. Oh, that's pine pollen. It's like, oh my gosh, because it looks like it could be dangerous. It looks like something, right? So now I love seeing this every now and then. I used to get dubia roaches from Gold Coast. By the way, everybody, Gold Coast dubia, who's is not in business anymore. But if you got roaches from Gold Coast Roaches, they had pine trees around them, and the roaches would come in with pine pollen. And this is kind of the fun thing we do with the microscope and such. I did a methodical check as to where this pine pollen could come from, because I don't have any pine trees around me. So I checked with the person that I got the chameleon from. No pine trees around them. So then I went and I started checking the vendors of all of the feeders that came in. And I found one that was in around a pine forest. So it just shows you how interesting it is when you find these little clues and you just try to figure out where they came from. So this is absolutely benign. You don't have to worry about it at all. This is just something that comes with the feeder insects. We get a lot of things that come with the feeder insects that aren't dangerous. And a little bit of a fun thing, we have insect parasites that come with our feeder insects. And they don't look much different than the ones that infect the chameleons. So you literally could see a pinworm ova and say, I've got to give fenbendazole. Well, that pinworm ova may actually have come from one of the crickets that he's eaten. And the pinworm is just ready to go out into the world. And it's not going to infect the chameleon. That's when we're starting to get to a level where, okay, it gets a little tricky, because now we've got to do subsequent fecal tests. And if you see pinworms in one fecal, but then in the next 3 you don't see pinworms, it's a possibility that that pinworm that you saw was not infecting the chameleon. Maybe it was bird pinworm or something like that, and the cricket somehow ate the poop of the bird that had the bird pinworm in it, and then we saw it inside of our chameleon. These ova and oocysts, they are flowing in and out all over the entire world, and so we are going to be seeing parasites that are not infectious to our chameleon. So just all part of the fun detective work. And let's see. Like Bill advocates, this does not replace professional exams. It makes us smarter at the clinic. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. None of getting your own microscope is a huge step forward in your husbandry, but it doesn't replace the vet. It will save you so much. It will, number one, save you a lot of money, because if you've got an infection, you need 3 fecals to say that it's gone. Well, if you see the coccidia and then you start treating, and then you see the coccidia disappearing, and after 3 fecals it's gone, that's something that you can do. You don't need to send that to a professional lab. You can also know when the problem comes and it's time to go to the vet, because you see a little bit of coccidia. You don't have to wait until your chameleon is showing the symptoms. And so once the chameleon is showing the symptoms, you have a raging infection. It's already out of balance. And now the medicine is critical. Knock it out before any symptoms are showing, and your chameleon will be very strong going through that treatment. All of these medicines are poisons, and they're meant to be at a level that affect the parasites, not the chameleon, but the chameleon has to process through all of these poisons. It's best to do it when your chameleon is strong, and it's really easy to knock out a small infection. So this is you doing these fecals gives you an early warning system and saves you a lot of money. But you still need to work with your vet. It doesn't replace your vet. So yes, and thank you very much, Mikey, for not only bringing that up, but acknowledging that I advocate that. It's very easy for people to say, oh, Bill is teaching people about how to do parasites because he wants to do it instead of a vet. Never said that. In fact, in the course, I talk about you need to be a partner with your veterinarian. So I've vocally advocated this makes you a better partner. It doesn't replace the vet. So thank you very much for Mikey for bringing that up. So, all right, everybody, we are to the end of the show. My goodness. Remember, if you're going to that cave tour, make sure you get your tickets. Eliza Ann sent an email out that has the link that you need. Go to that email and get that link. Ask me if you didn't get that email, bill@chameleonacademy.com. And let's see, I will be here tomorrow at 5 p.m. Pacific for our Chameleon Chore Night. I don't know what I'm going to be doing, but that's okay, because it's an informal hangout. No pressure. We're just hanging out on a Sunday night, getting ready for the next week. And so it's been absolutely wonderful being with you this Saturday afternoon. Go and have a great weekend, and I will see you tomorrow, or the official show, which is Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, which is our open question and answer session. So, let's see. One more. Let's see. Mikey says, cost me 150 Canadian dollars for a fecal before getting the meds. Saved on the next 3 fecals. Now I do one every 6 months. Yeah. Saves you money. Saves you money, and it's better husbandry for your chameleon. All right, everybody. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.